have this dream to become a filmmaker, I know what kind of stories I want to tell, or rather, what kind of characters I want to populate my stories. I just need to find some locations to get inspired, to help me write those stories. That's the goal of this trip. I'm heading to New Mexico. I'm going to find some places that inspire me and see what kind of stories naturally emerge. I was taking the late evening flight from Dallas to El Paso, where I would begin my journey. As often happens, when I set out on something new, there's this mixture of both fear and excitement. I've learned these emotions are like two sides of the same coin. Fear and excitement. Stepping boldly into them both for the sake of growth. Always stepping into the new. Morning found me in the bright sunlight and crisp cold air of New Mexico. I went outside for my morning practice of yoga and qigong to get ready for the day ahead. I recently added this tapping technique to help activate blood circulation and stimulate my lymphatic system each morning. My first stop was to see a mural cycle by Kenneth Barrick at New Mexico State University in Las Cruces. I could imagine a scene taking place there in front of those heroic murals, something on a human scale, like someone running, then slowing perhaps to cry at some unseen tragedy. Next, I rode on to Truth or Consequences, a small town with a big name there in the desert. I briefly visited the bowling alley there, but realized it's been done before and much better than I could, and I'm just not sure how I could top the bowling scenes from Buffalo 66, Uncle Buck, or the classic Big Lebowski. So I went downtown to walk and see what inspiration may arise there. I'm here in the center of Truth or Consequences. It's a small, quiet little town, but really quaint and picturesque. It felt like a scene from the past, like 50 or 60 years ago, something timeless and vintage. I'm a sucker for used bookstores. They're some of my favorite places to go, not just to look for books, but for the ambience, the environment. There's so much learning and information, inspiration all around in the thousands of books on the shelves. Some of my best art has come from materials, collage materials that I've gotten from the bookstores on Donceles, Mexico City. Leaving the bookstore, I found a grocery, and again felt like I was stepping back in time. The way the fruits and vegetables were arranged in bright colored groupings, with prices, some printed and others drawn by hand. The tightly arranged and yet still casual displays of bottled goods, canned foods, and boxes of dried, processed, and ready to prepare items. What kind of scene would I film here? Maybe something that shows the character's isolation. Maybe a dialogue they would have with the products on the shelves. The last time I was in Truth or Consequences, which must have been about a dozen years ago, there was a tree right over here where a great flock of turkey vultures would come in to roost in the evening. It was a really magnificent sight to behold. Well, we get here today and we meet this guy who introduces himself as Brocephus. Well, he tells us about 10 years ago, they cut down that tree and replaced it with a parking lot. It really made me feel sick to my stomach because of that magnificent sight of the turkey vultures roosting. I hope they found a new home and a place where they can't be disturbed. And I can't help but feel the town lost a little something when the tree that held the turkey vultures was cut down. Well, it's been an active day. And what would my character do when they're ready to chill? I know. They'd find a hot tub to relax and muse on life. There's a hot tub here out on the patio. Feels really good with the cold air outside. I hear the mineral springs in Truth or Consequences have lithium and other minerals. There's something really relaxing about getting into the water. Just chilling out. Something that feels very primordial. It's being carried by these minute fluctuations, the waves. I like to go under the water, the bubbles, the action of the water in its depths. And with that, my character would get out of the tub to dry off. Perhaps something dramatic would happen at that moment. Maybe one of the turkey vultures, or the entire flock from the previous story, would descend around the tub to clean themselves and roost there. And with that, I left my stay at the adobe cabin and wandered out in search of more answers in my quest to become a filmmaker.